All right, everyone, we are starting a new unit today. This unit deals with area and volume formulas. It kind of follows from what we did previously with work with functions, because formulas are really a form of a function in itself. You have an input that you put into the formula, and you get an output. All right, and so these next exercises here that we do will be based around certain formulas. All right, and the first exercise here we have this picture of a square inside of a square. This could be like a little yard area with a sidewalk all around it. All right, that's a lot of times happens, or it could be like a square pool, right, with a sidewalk or a space around it that's paved, around the pool, because there could be any combination of things. So we're going to have to draw on some things that we've done before, maybe in previous years. One thing you need to recall is the formula for a a square. All right, I've got that right here. The formula for the area of a square is s squared. All right, and the s stands for one of the sides of these squares. And let's give this one a shot here. It says, what is the length of one side of the inner square? All right, well, we don't need any formula for that. That gives us right in the picture, it gives it to us. So that's pretty easy. All right, so that's 6 inches. Okay, so we'll go ahead and label that one right down here. All right, and what is the area of the smaller inner square? Okay, so there's where I need my formula. So I'm going to start with writing the formula, a equals s squared. And I'm going to plug in the information that they've given me. They gave me that the side is equal to 6. All right, and so if I square 6, that just means 6 times 6, which is 36 inches squared. And remember, a little review for you, remember that whenever you're talking area, your units is always squared. Okay, so there's the area of the inner square. And I'm just going to go ahead and put 36 inches squared right in the middle there. All right? All right, what else we got? What is the length of one side of the larger outer square? All right, so that would be from here all the way over to here. Okay, and if I add these all up, I've got 1 inch from here to here. I've got 6 inches from here to here, and then another 1 inch. So that is 8 inches for one of the sides. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in right there. And now this is the tough part. All right, what is the area of the 1 inch white border of the figure? Okay, now that 1 inch white border, that is not a square. Right? That is not a square because they don't want this shaded area in here. They just want the area out here, which would be like your sidewalk. Okay? So how are we going to do this? We're going to do this in a multi-step way here. Now, could I find the area of the outer square, meaning all of the area inside this outer square? Sure, I could use my area, and I'll name this area of the big square. All right, that means this outer square and everything in between here. All right, inside. That's going to be s squared, right? So we said one side is 8. Okay, and that's going to be 64 inches squared. That's the area of the big square. Okay. We already figured out the area of the small square, or the shaded square. That was 36 inches squared. All right. So if I want just the sidewalk out here, which means I want to get rid of all of this. All right. I don't want it anymore. I want to get rid of it. Okay. I want to cut it out and throw it away. Cut and paste, right? But I don't want to paste. I just want to cut. All right. So I want to get rid of, how much do I want to get rid of? I want to get rid of 36 inches squared. Right? So if this whole square, this whole area is 64 inches squared, and I want to get rid of that shaded area. I don't want that in there anymore. I want to take away that 36. All right, if I simply subtract it away, then that's going to leave me with the area of the sidewalk. All right, so here we go. Let's subtract these. I get an 8 there and a 2 there. And when I take inches squared and take away inches squared, well, my units is still inches squared. All right, so this right here, that's my final answer for the area of the sidewalk. All right, or the outer white border, they call it over here. All right, so pretty straightforward. Again, if you know the formula for a square, that's really part of the battle right there. Okay, so let me wipe that off. Let's get rid of that, and let's turn on number 2 here. Now this one's different. They're talking about volume. Okay, volume of the right prism. And if you remember, again, this is from last year. We had volume of prisms. We used that formula, and notice this is a capital B. That stood for the area of the base. Okay, the area of the base of that figure. Now, this kind of shape, the base has the figure or the shape of a rectangle. All right, so I could turn this formula into this. Instead of the capital B, I could take what is the area formula for a rectangle. All right, that is length times width. All right, so I could take that big B out and put in L and W. Okay, and so when I have this formula, again, it is like a function. It's working with a function. All right, and I simply plug in what they give me and solve for the thing that they don't give me. Well, they give me the volume, so I'm going to take that number, I'm going to put it in for V. All right, and notice this third here, whenever you're talking about volume, you are cubed or raised to the third power. Okay, so take note of that. All right, so they want me to find the height, so I'm solving for h here. And so what else do they give me? Well, they give me the length right here. The length of the base is 8, so I'm going to plug that in for L. And the width of the base is 2.2. All right, and I don't know h. All right, I don't know what h is. So now, look what I've done. I've taken my formula and turned it into just an equation, right? An equation or a function that I can solve for h. All right, so let's do the math. All right, 8 times 2.2. Let's be sure about this. I think I can do that, but let's make sure. All right, 8 times 2.2. That's going to be 17.6. Okay. And that is multiplied by h. Okay, I can leave my h in parentheses. And then to solve for h, I simply divide by 17.6. All right, and over here it goes away and I get h. And I'm going to bring this back up to do the math here, 61.6. I'm going to divide, I'm going to divide by 17.6. Oh, and I get 3.5. All right, so 3.5. And that is not a volume anymore. That is the height. That is this distance right here. So whenever we're dealing with a distance, it's just inches. Okay, we're not inches cubed or we're not inches squared. It's just inches because it's just a distance. All right, so there you go. All right, but it's all about knowing this formula. Okay, we start with this formula, and all I did was I just plugged in the parts that they gave me, and lo and behold, I only have one part that I had to solve for. All right, okay, let's give another one a shot here. Let me get rid of that one. All right, now this one's a little different. Okay, we have a circle now, and it looks like we have a circle inside of a circle. All right, and it says find the area of the outer ring. Okay, so we're just talking about the area of this outer ring. This could be like a frisbee, but with no center in it. Okay, you ever seen those? Or like a hula hoop. All right, you could be like a hula hoop. So find the area of the outer ring. The radius of the inner circle is 8. I'm going to go ahead and put that right on here. This is 8 inches. Okay, right in here. And I need to know my formula. Again, I've got to recall from previous work that my formula for the area of a circle is A equals pi r squared. Okay, if I don't know that formula, then guess what? You're not doing the problem. Alrighty, so I've got to start there. Okay, what are we going to do? This is very similar to the first exercise. where I want to find the area of the big circle. Okay, if I area the big circle, because that gives me the area of this whole figure here. And then I'm going to take away, I do not want this inner part right here. I don't want in here, so I'm gonna find the area of that smaller circle and just take it away. All right. So I'm gonna say the area of the big circle is pi r squared, and I'm just gonna again plug in what they give me. I know what pi is. All right. I'm gonna leave pi just how it is. I'm gonna put in 8, and I'm gonna just do the math. 8 squared is 64. Okay. So, and usually we write that as 64 pi. Okay, and what are we in? We're in inches squared. All right, so there's the area of the big circle. Okay, I'll even, well, no, I was going to say I was going to outline that, but you know what? Yeah, that wouldn't look too good. All right, so now what the area of the small circle, I use the same formula, right? It's still a circle. So I plug in radius. The radius here is, oh, no, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. I just did that backwards, didn't I? Did you guys catch that? Huh? Did you catch that? This is the area of the small circle. Small circle, huh? You thought you were going to come in tomorrow and you're going to say, Mr. Martell, you made a mistake. Hey, we all make mistakes, right? That's the area of the small circle. Let's change this to, let's take this away and let's say this is the area of the big circle, right? All right. The area of the big circle. Here we go. Big. Okay, same formula, but what is the radius of the big circle? Is it just 4? No. No, 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 no. It's not just 4. It's from the center all the way out to the edge here. So how far is it from here to here? Well, it's still 4 inches. Okay, so my radius of the big circle is going to be 8 plus 4. That's going to be 12, right? Okay, so that's 144. 12 squared is 144 pi inches squared. Okay, so here's my big circle. Here's my small circle. If I just want just this ring, I'm going to take and I'm going to subtract. I'm going to go area of the big circle. Oops, I don't want an R there. I just want an inches squared, okay? And the area of the small circle in inches squared, and I'm going to subtract them. All right, 144 minus a 64 is going to give me how much? 80? Yep, 80. And I'm still going to have this pi. That pi doesn't go away. Now here's the thing. Here's very important. I get the area of the ring. Okay, I'm going to put that the outer ring to be that much. There's the area. I'm going to put that down. Area of the outer ring. Okay. Now, there's two ways they could ask me to answer this. They could say exact. Find me an exact area. Okay. If they say that, and this is only related to areas and volumes where you have a pi symbol involved, okay? So circles, and later on we're going to do like cones and pyramids and such, all right? But if you have the pi number into that formula, then they could ask for exact. That means just leave the pi symbol right into your answer. So if they ask for exact, all right, here's your answer, 80 pi inches squared. However, they could say, here's what they could do. They could say approximate. All right? They could say approximate your answer. In that case, you want to take your calculator and you want to plug in pi. You want to use that pi button. Okay? Pi button. All right, and you want to actually do the multiplication. So if I bring up my calculator, I take 80 and I multiply by pi. See this little pi button over here? That is a huge number, is it not? All right, that is never going to repeat. Okay, and I hit equals, and we're going to approximate, say, to the 10th. All right, so that'd be 251.3. Okay, so as soon as you plug in that pi button, that pi number there, you've approximated. All right, but you don't do that till the very end. Okay, we're going to do that till the very end. So here's approximate. Here is exact. All right, and that's pretty easy. Once again, you know the formula. You got to know that formula. All right. All right, one more to go. This is kind of an interesting shape here. Now we've got a 3D object here, so we're doing volume. Okay, and remember our volume formula is for this prism, because this is a rectangular prism, is base times height, where again this is the area of the base. But I like to write it like this. The area of a rectangle is just length times width, right? So I like to use this formula right here. Okay? And really, this is just two rectangular prisms. This is just two boxes stuck together. All right? So I'm going to find the volume of the upper box, okay, or the upper prism, and I'm going to find the volume of the lower prism, okay? And what am I going to do with those? If I want the total volume, I'm just going to add them together, right? So I've got L times W times H, length times width times height on the upper box, and I've got length times width times height on the lower box. All right? And again, you just plug in the numbers. All right? You just plug in the numbers. The length and width and height here, we're going to go with 8 and 2 and 3. All right? And we're going to add to that the volume of the lower box, which is, what do we got? 3.5, 1.5, and 11. 1.5 and 11. So I'm really just plugging in the numbers again that they gave me. That's going to be the total volume of this figure. Okay, so let's see. 8 times 2 is 16, and if I take 16 times 3, I get 48. And let's see, I'm going to bring up the calculator here. We're going to go 3.5. Oops, we need 3.5. Yeah, we'll try that again. 3.5, there we go, times 1.5, and that equals 5.25, and then we need to times that by 11. I really didn't have to hit equals. I could have done it all at once, but 57.75. And then what do I got to do? I got to add those together, right? So I'm just going to add 48 to that, and I get 105.75. Okay, and we are calculating a volume. And what are we in inches? So that's going to be, anytime you have a volume, it is inches cubed. All right, so make sure that you have that inches cubed. Okay, so there you have it. All right. So what it comes down to is you've got to know these formulas. Okay, if you don't know the formulas, you're kind of stuck. But whenever you use a formula, really it is plugging in what they give you and then just crunching out the answers. Okay, or doing a little algebra to get to those answers there. Okay, and always, always, always make sure you have the correct units there. That is uber important. Okay, because without the units, it really doesn't mean much of anything. Okay? All right, so practice with those formulas, and thanks for watching. Have a good night.